Imagine a place where nature has risen from the ruins, a place where humans dare not tread, but where life is gaining strength once again. In Chernobyl's exclusion zone, wild animals thrive. After the disaster, the area became a ghost land. Here, among the villages and forests abandoned forever, wild animals reign, returning to the world. The forgotten secrets of survival and prosperity. After the Chernobyl disaster in 1986, the area around the nuclear power plant became a ghost country, devoid of life, inhabitants, and a future. But it's only been a little over 3 decades. How nature has amazed us with its incredible power to recover and adapt. Are you ready to dive into this mystery of nature, capable of blowing your mind? The Chernobyl disaster left behind not just ruined cities, but also a unique ecosystem. The radioactive release affected the flora and fauna. In the first years after the accident, the number of animals in the zone significantly decreased. But over time, nature began to recover. Radiation affects the genetic material of animals, leading to mutations. But over time, nature began to recover. Radiation affects the genetic material of animals, leading to mutations. Most often, these changes manifest as physical deformities and in some cases, even changes in behavior. It was predicted that genetic instability in the animal population living in the contaminated area would persist for many generations. However, they, on the contrary, have learned to adapt to such conditions. Despite this, it's worth highlighting the story of Kiev geneticist Vyacheslav Konovalov. He collected a collection of Chernobyl mutant animals. Some of the exhibits are kept at the Genetics Institute in the village of Chubinsk in the Kiev region. But unfortunately, most of the collection no longer physically exists. Vyacheslav said that in 1986, almost every village had mutants being born, every day. He saw a piglet with 2 heads, a goose with 4 legs, a cow with 4 horns, a foal with 8 legs, a 2-headed calf. People were burning the monsters that were born, but Konovalov tried to establish connections with rural veterinarians to be able to learn about similar precedents and preserve the mummified animals. As evidence, the scientist buried animals in the forest in glass containers filled with formalin and marked the burial site, so he could find them later. Catfish are fish known for their strength and size. They can reach impressive sizes, and some individuals in Chernobyl are just shocking with their dimensions. Catfish average around 7 feet. Some reach 10 feet and weigh over 220 pounds. But there are specimens that can reach lengths of up to 10 feet, 3 meters, and weighing over 220 pounds or 100 kilograms. The main river where you can find giant catfish is the Pripyat. It plays an important role in the ecosystem of the Chernobyl zone. That's the Pripyat. It is an important part of the Chernobyl zone's ecosystem. And it's right here that the largest specimens are concentrated. But of course, there are plenty of myths about such giants. Fish and monsters hunt people. Whole boats and others say that real monsters are hiding in the rivers of the Chernobyl zone that hunt people. But let's be honest, such stories are more fiction. However, one of the guides, who was leading a tour at the cooling pond of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, told the tourists that a catfish could drag a child into the water, and that catfish also attacked birds that land on the shore. The rare long-eared bat is actively settling in Chernobyl. Right now, there are 14 species of rare and not-so-rare bats living in the area. The long-eared bat is a small species of bat, known for its large ears that are twice the length of most other members of its kind. These ears play a key role in echolocation, helping the animal navigate in the dark and catch insects like moths. Known for its large ears, which are twice as long as those of most other members of its genus, these ears play a crucial role in echolocation, helping the animal navigate in the dark and catch insects like moths. The body weight can reach up to 0.03 pounds, or 15 grams. The body length can reach up to 19 inches, or 58 millimeters. The tail length can reach up to 0.17 feet, or 52 millimeters. The wingspan can reach up to 1 foot, or 31 centimeters. The long-eared bat prefers wooded areas with dense shrubs, where it's easy to find shelter and food. This species is rarely seen, and its population is declining due to habitat loss and climate change. Long-eared bats often build their nests in the hollows of old trees or in abandoned buildings. In Chernobyl, despite high radioactive contamination, long-eared bats thrive, an interesting subject for scientists. The end of human activity in the exclusion zone has allowed nature to recover, and bats have found new food and shelter. Despite radiation threats, long-eared bat populations in Chernobyl remain stable, indicating their adaptability to extreme conditions. These animals have indeed mutated in Chernobyl. This indicates their ability to adapt to extreme conditions. This animal has indeed mutated in Chernobyl. The black fox is a result of a genetic mutation caused by radiation exposure. Although these mutations can lead to various changes in the appearance of animals, such changes aren't always catastrophic for their survival. On the contrary, black fur can even help the bats better adapt to a nocturnal lifestyle and stealth, making them less noticeable to predators and potential prey. On the contrary, black fur can even help the bats better adapt to a nocturnal lifestyle and stealth. This helps them be less noticeable to predators and potential prey. Research shows that black fur is not the only change that has occurred in foxes in Chernobyl. That's not the only change that has happened to foxes in Chernobyl. Some individuals have other genetic changes, like organ development anomalies or behavioral traits. Don't they interfere with survival and adapting to new conditions? Interestingly, Chernobyl has become a sort of natural reserve, where the absence of human activity has given nature a chance to recover. Black foxes, like other animals, have found shelter and resources for survival here. These animals have become objects of scientific study because they demonstrate how species can change under the influence of radiation and adapt to extreme conditions. That's why many scientists believe that the shift from the usual reddish color to black is also a result of the natural adaptation process influenced by the changed flora and fauna of Chernobyl. In 2005, a strange video went viral worldwide, showing a moose running across a railway track. Nothing surprising, you'd say. And the moose was headless. The video was shot by a cameraman from the Zvezda TV channel. He was about to take a panoramic shot of nature, but at that moment, a moose ran by, startling not just the man, but the whole world. Later, a legend even emerged about the headless moose. Supposedly, this animal is the guardian of the creatures. In Chernobyl, there's a kind of Chernobyl spirit. Sometimes it's seen and people try to chase it, but it always slips away. However, skeptics believe it's just a myth fueled by Chernobyl's mystical reputation. Sometimes it's seen and people try to chase it, but it always slips away. However, skeptics believe that it's just a myth fueled by Chernobyl's mystical reputation. But in any case, the video looks very realistic. What do you think? In 2016, a group of foreign researchers discovered several eastern tree frogs in the exclusion zone, which had an unusual black color instead of the bright green. Scientists suggest that the frogs changed color to better adapt to radiation. Melanin, which gives frogs their dark color. It can reduce the negative effects of radiation because it absorbs and scatters such radiation. For 2 years, from 2017 to 2019, scientists conducted research on over 200 of these individuals. After studying them, the scientists concluded that the tree frogs likely went through a rapid process of evolution triggered by radiation. In other words, frogs with darker skin tones turned out to be better adapted to radiation than their green counterparts. Brothers, so now there are practically no ordinary green frogs left in Chernobyl. Wild deer, like many other animals, populated the Chernobyl zone after people left these lands. Once part of the ecosystem, these graceful animals have returned to devastated forests as well as less polluted areas. But what happened to them when radiation started affecting everything around? One of the most noticeable effects of radiation on deer is the change in their antlers. Normal deer have antlers, and those antlers have a certain shape and size. They have a certain shape and size. However, animals in Chernobyl have deformed antlers. Deer and other animals may suffer radiation-induced diseases, antlers. In addition, deer, like many other animals in Chernobyl, may suffer from diseases caused by radiation. For example, they show weakened immune systems, which makes them more vulnerable to infections. Some animals also suffer from various deformities, such as limb deformities and organ development abnormalities. Interestingly, despite the radiation effects, the deer in Chernobyl were able to adapt to the new conditions. Research shows that they are developing new behavioral strategies to survive in this dangerous environment. For example, they became more cautious and secretive, avoiding areas with high radiation levels. Scientists say that despite the animals' adaptations, the long-term effects of radiation may not yet be fully understood. Some changes happening to the deer population, like a decrease in their lifespan or changes in reproductive rates, might only become visible after decades. One of the first observations by scientists was the health anomalies in wolves, might only become visible after decades. One of the first observations by scientists was health anomalies in wolves. For example, some of them have been recorded with organ deformities, weakened immune systems, and reproductive issues. But the most interesting part is the genetic changes that can be passed on to their offspring. Anomalies manifest themselves in various pathologies, such as skin diseases and even a decrease in life expectancy. However, for most of these animals, radiation isn't fatal. It just affects their bodies, creating long-term consequences. Chernobyl wolves have also changed their behavior, adapting to the new conditions, creating long-term consequences. Chernobyl wolves have also changed their behavior, adapting to the new conditions. Without people in these areas, wolves became more self-confident. They started boldly exploring new areas, formed larger packs and developed new strategies. Hunting. But radiation makes them avoid the most contaminated areas, just like the deer. Instead of living in the center of the exclusion zone, they prefer to stay on the outskirts, where the radiation levels are lower, which increases their chances of survival. The impact of radiation on bears is a weakened immune system. Anomalies in cells, blood, and organs are observed. Bears feel more confident without people. Some have also shown anomalies in their cells, blood, and organs. Like the wolves, bears have also started to feel more confident now that there are no people around. They're exploring new territories, often venturing into open spaces and actively searching for food. It's interesting that bears are starting to inhabit places that were once occupied by humans, like abandoned villages or even ruined buildings. This phenomenon raises questions about how much radiation is changing the habits of these animals. Despite all the dangers, the bear population in Chernobyl continues to grow. Scientists note that in recent decades, the bear population here has increased. This is because, in the exclusion zone, where there are no people, it's easier for animals to find food and claim their territory. Plus, without competition from humans and their activities, bears feel safe. This is because, in the exclusion zone, where there are no people, animals find it easier to find food and claim their territory. Moreover, without competition from humans and their activities, bears feel safe. This allows them to strengthen their population and adapt to the new conditions. The Chernobyl exclusion zone, contrary to all expectations, has become an amazing example of wildlife revival. Undoubtedly, radiation has affected the appearance and condition of the animals. However, aside from the negative health consequences, we can see how individuals have managed to adapt to the new conditions. Watching this, we can be inspired by the power of nature and think about how important it is to give it space to grow. And I have an interesting proposal for you. You have a unique opportunity to become part of our team. If you have video editing skills, you can voice over videos in Russian, English, and other languages, or write interesting scripts. We would be happy to work with you. Message our Telegram bot. The link is in the description. That's all for today. Thanks for watching.